This is Delhi. Please stand by for our next program. This is All India Radio. Welcome tomorrow. All India Radio, in collaboration with Vigyan Prasar, presents the science serial Welcome Tomorrow, based on myriad facets of artificial intelligence. Time now to listen to the 35th episode. In this episode, we present a discussion on this series and salient aspects of artificial intelligence. The participants are Dr. Nakul Parashar, Director Vigyan Prasar, Dr. Beerendra Tyagi, Senior Scientist Vigyan Prasar. Vinita Thakur is moderating the discussion.
Welcome Tomorrow, a serial which has won the hearts of all the listeners who love science and also those who have no interest in science till date. But now, with this serial, the interest seems to be rising higher, and now they are so glued to the radio, especially during this program, that they ask questions also. Well, we have the questions, we have the answers, because for the answers we have two eminent guests from Vigyan Prasar, and they are sitting right in front of me. So firstly, I would like to introduce our listeners to them. They are Dr. Nakul Parashar, he is the director of Vigyan Prasar, and also Dr. Beerendra Tyagi, a senior scientist who is quite a popular broadcaster. So welcome both of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
So it's really a pleasure to have both of you here, because we all know that the popularity of this show, this science serial, is really too much. And also the fact that this is a science serial, the curiosity is rising too. They often ask questions about this. There are so many queries regarding all this, like the artificial intelligence, the topic which was chosen this time. It's something which is very unusual. Even those who are taking part in this serial, like once or twice, even I was a part of it, I also learned quite a lot. Every episode, in its own way, tells you a lot. And you learn so much that you want to implement it in your life, or you want to share it with your friends. So I would like it if you throw some light on this as to how this concept arose and how this came into force.
Oh, the concept is actually our Niti Aayog has developed a concept paper.
Yeah.
And there was a certain area which were identified, and to all concerned ministries, department, institutes, you can say the agenda was put before them that these are the area where we have to maximize the use of artificial intelligence. One was like education, then the transportations, health, agriculture, and the smart cities. These were the, I think, 5 or 6 areas. But the question is, like, until and unless we ourselves, as a general population or general citizen of the country, if we don't have a fairly good idea about artificial intelligence, I think the success of implementation of those program policy will not be possible. So it was mandated on us to popularize this concept, the basic understanding of AI among the common people, especially those who don't have an understanding of science, or those who don't have studied science as a higher subject. And it's an emerging area. It is shaping the country, and our tomorrow will be different. So that's why we have titled
this lovely title of Welcome Tomorrow.
Welcome Tomorrow. So to make all of us ready for tomorrow, which will be a technology-based, AI-based, how are we prepared to accept that, or are we ready to venture out into the tomorrow's scenario, which will be governed by science and technology, AI, and all that. As I told you, agriculture, even not only agriculture, then health sector, then because you might have seen in corona pandemic where the doctor is sitting elsewhere and operation is being conducted by through robotics somewhere else. Then again the education, because education now the role of AI has been well established.
Yeah.
So when there is no all virtual classes, and when the if the schools are not open, but we
Then
cannot
also,
stop. Yeah.
they are
So
studying.
yes,
And things are running
the
smooth.
concept of smart cities already, beloved Prime Minister has already pointed out there will be this many new
So
smart
you meant
cities.
to say AI is there almost in every sphere of
Yes,
life?
it's going to be. That's why,
Right.
and we should be ready for that.
Absolutely. And for the masses
Yeah.
who are very curious to
Yes.
understand
Yes.
why and what is AI,
Yes.
I guess
Yeah.
this was the right time to get started.
Yes.
Dr. Parashar, talking of tomorrow, because the serial is Welcome Tomorrow, and we all know that by tomorrow we should be well equipped, we should be completely knowing a lot as much as we can, and since Vigyan Prasar is helping us recover, discover all that. But then we also know that only not even 1 month is left for that wonderful day, the great day where we have this special day being celebrated with lots of plannings. And those plannings, who else can give us a better insight into it?
Sure, I'll be happy to do so.
Please, sir.
Because February 28th every year is celebrated as the National Science Day.
Yeah.
National Science Day because that was a day in the year 1928 when famous scientist, Nobel laureate Acharya C.V. Raman discovered his Raman effect. And that is when we celebrate our National Science Day. We all know that this year we've already entered into our 75th year of independence, and the entire nation all over has been celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
True.
Government of India through its various agencies like the Ministry of Culture, Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, along with Vigyan Prasar have come together to celebrate this week-long program called Vigyan Sarvatra Pujyate, which means Vigyan is revered all over the place, as it means in Sanskrit. And for that matter, the figure 75 is very critical and crucial as we celebrate the 75th year. We are trying to do this at 75 places all over the country.
Oh.
So 75 locations, 75 expositions, 75 book fairs, 75 posters, 75 lectures, and a lot more. All around 75.
All on this Amrit
Azadi Ka
Mahotsav.
Amrit Mahotsav. And
Fabulous.
this week-long celebrations have been sliced and diced into 6 days, 7 days, and of which there are 5 major themes that we are trying to observe. And in this, the first one, we all start chronologically. So we go back into the annals of history to discover what our people have had done in the 75 years of science and technologies. We remember those people, we remember those luminaries, we look into those institutes and institutions that have created a niche for all of us in the area of science and technology.
Yeah.
Secondly, of course, it's important for us to understand the different milestones that we have covered so far. The story doesn't end here. We have third day where we talk about Swadeshi, Paramparik, innovations and inventions. So all that we have done, we should be proud of what we have done so far. All of this seems to be a little heavy, but then the fourth day is the one where we make it a little lighter, relaxing with science, poetry festival, theatres and all not. As we have heard of the Jaipur Lit Festival, we have a Science Lit Festival that will be celebrated all over the place. It will be all a period, an era of festivities all over the place. People would be joyous, happy, dancing, singing, all and relishing the so-called understood dry and drab science technology as one of the most interesting facets. And then the last day, which is when we talk about what's the road ahead. So 25 years from now, when we celebrate our 100th year of Indian independence, is what we'll be talking about. Subject matter experts from India and from the Indian diaspora all over the globe would come together, speak to us, tell us what they perceive about how India would be in the next 25 years. So there's a lot that you can expect.
Real extravaganza, but in a very intellectual manner and very
intellectual
well planned.
as well as in a very joyous manner.
Yeah.
So that we celebrate and really enjoy this as a festival, which is called the Vigyan Sarvatra Pujyate. And then let Tyagi ji complete what I wanted to say. Over.
Literature
yeah.
and science. How does this link?
Oh, very much. Because if you look at our, the old scriptures, where the literature and science was not different. Science as a subject came very recently, because it is called, if you look at the earlier terminology which was used for science, people were doing actually science, but the word was science was not used.
there.
They say that they are trying to understand the philosophy of nature. So all our scriptures are about understanding the universe and all that. So literature and science was not different. This differentiation came very recently, only in 20th century, when this publication of peer journal reviewed concept was started. And then the scientists became isolated from the society. That's why the need of
now-
science communication,
Yeah.
we are trying again to bridge that gap, where we are trying, like science is
And
everywhere.
very effectively this is being done, because now one can see this is being completely bridged.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there is science is everywhere. Everybody is need science, and especially like what the time to come as 25 years next. How we perceive our society should be, because this is true. Like this time, present time is of science and technology. If you look at our all plan and policy, they are making science and technology as the engine. Engine of the growth is science and technology. If we are like thinking of 5 trillion economy, it is the basic the basic structure on which we are visualizing this economy is science and technology. So that's why like all of us should contribute in developing, in utilizing, and being a responsible citizen. So that is the overall mood of this festival would be. It will be for 6 to 7 days, where the local itineraries will be highlighted. Many scientists, local scientists who has contributed, they have brought Indian science to the world map, but they are not much known among the people. Not only in scientific community, but not among the people. And what was their contribution? How it has helped to shape or to contributed into the fundamental science, and which later on turn into an application. It may be atmospheric science or space or atomic science, whatever is that. So all this will be, and an interesting part is that it will be done in the regional languages.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah, it is being done at 75 places. Suppose we are in Karnataka, and we had 4 or 5 centers, so it will be done in Kannada. We are doing it 5 places. So that is the main attraction, where we want to
The reach should be
reach to the what generally poetic form said. We try to reach the lowest hanging fruit of the in terms of science and science communication.
Well, this is one topic which can go on and on, but we shouldn't forget that we are here today to declare the names of the winners.
Yes.
Because,
I think I
you know,
request
those
our
listeners,
I'll be more than happy to announce
and
them.
with our director around, I would like it if he just
Lovely,
reads
lovely.
it.
So we have Ganesh Gopal Vajpayee from Kanpur, a village called Kadara. Pradeep Gautam Suman from Upwan Nagar, Bonda in River district in Madhya Pradesh. Sudha Baral from Masjid Maud, New Delhi. Vimla Verma from Bisalpur in district Pilibhit, Uttar Pradesh. And Syed Nabi Ullah from Nalbari in Assam. Durgesh Naganpure from a village called Jaswadi in Khandwa, Madhya Pradesh. And similarly, we have Shivendu from the Mitali Listeners Club.
Yes.
From Murshidabad in West Bengal.
Yes.
So congratulations, winners, and keep writing to us, keep listening to our questions, keep answering them. And I'm sure we don't only give prizes to people who answer our questions, but we also give prizes for
Participation.
for people who've been asking questions. So we have a prize-winning question as well in our serials as well.
Yeah.
And for that matter, there's a gift hamper which is waiting. So next time, whenever you do so, please make sure that you send us your complete address so that you don't miss out on the prizes that are on your way.
And some feedback also they have sent. So would you like to highlight that?
But I would like to add to this. If Shivendu is listening to us, Shivendu, we would like to know more about your listeners club. How many members?
Yeah.
And what is your strategy? How you operate as a club? So if you can send us a small write-up, I think in next program we'll include that. And now there is like a time to blow our own trumpet. Feedback, there are some very good
Positive
letters.
and some,
yes,
yeah.
because you feel good that you are going in a right direction.
And you're being heard, and this is not one program which you can just hear and do, things,
Right.
take it easy.
That's
it
right.
has to be heard with lots of conviction, lots of effort, and some seriousness, because
Correct.
it's
Correct.
not a futile one. You
Absolutely.
gain so much from this.
Yeah. So in few of our last episode which we have been broadcasted, we have included certain stories, very common stories taken from different our old scriptures,
Texts, yeah.
and we try to relate them with the current knowledge of AI. So this letter is Ganesh Gopalji. He is from Kanpur. He's saying this is one of the most popular radio serial, and especially the way you have connected and highlighted the AI with those stories. And then he has given an example, the Lankani example. It is from the Ramayana when Hanumanji is going to Lanka. He was stopped before he entered into the
could
gate
enter
of
the,
with a very
Lanka.
Lankani. He said he was a Rakshasi. But if we look at our current knowledge, we cannot think like a person. A organic person can be this much large, because it will not be compatible
not
with
feasible,
life.
yeah.
And then how much he or she is eating, and how 24 hours. If you are a living organism, you cannot like wake up for 24 hours. So it could be possibly a machine and equipped with AI, because it is not allowing anybody to enter into the Lanka. Same way the
human
security
emotions are
modern
there.
modern
Yeah.
security system in any building which you can see. So this was the way like we try to connect. So they said like they enjoyed fully these stories, and but at the same time they have pointed out one mistake which factually we committed in that story.
Okay.
They're saying the Akashvani Sena. It is a concept again. It is actually a unit. Is comprising of how many rath, then horses, then elephant, and पैदल चलने वाले योद्धा. Correct total is 21,870. But in our script, I don't know, it was wrongly written. It said 2,87,000. Yeah, it was a factual mistake, and we are very thankful to Gopalji for finding out this mistake. And I think we correct in our write-up this mistake. And second is Durgesh Nageshpuri. He is again from Jaswadi village, Khandwa, Madhya Pradesh. He is saying that your program is wonderful in terms of understanding the Sati Club. They are praising the program, and especially giving or conveying hardcore concept in a storytelling format. They are very impressed with us.
I think we are so happy to hear them. The feedback, of course, is always welcome.
Very, very important.
Yeah. Sir, it's a fact that if you present even like this is, I won't say sugar-coated, because the facts are there, and everything seems to be very interesting and convincing at the same time. But when you present anything like in a dramatic manner, where, like I said, if I get a chance to present even a small anecdote, but if it is plainly said, if it is not with any modulation or anything, it does not attract.
Yeah.
But because we have done it in a serial form, which is drama, which is dramatic, then the interpretation is so gripping that listeners definitely get involved in it, and they like it also.
I'll tell you, there's more than 350 science writers across the country has been
Involved in this.
working
Working.
for developing those scripts. And there are many of them are scientists themselves, and then there is a group of people who are vetting the script so that no factual mistake should go.
Yeah.
So it's a complete teamwork that you're trying to talk about, and I guess, as we say, no pains, no gains. So I think there's of course a hard work that has been put into it, a complete teamwork that works around the clock, and the best part is that we have people like you who drive this with so much of passion. That's clearly seen in when you talk about how people have reacted to it, and I guess the feedback that we have just received talks volumes about the work that we have done so far, and also the kind of interest that we've been able to generate in a common man's mind, because a topic like this is of great importance.
And see the priorities, sir.
Absolutely.
Earlier, there used to be lots of listeners' clubs, but their aim was, their intentions were simply to listen to film songs.
Absolutely.
But
Music,
now
yeah.
their priorities are changed. Now they have become hardcore knowledge seekers. Now they
Absolutely.
want to seek as much knowledge as they can.
Absolutely.
And this is definitely going to help them,
Absolutely.
help their neighbors, help the family, and above all, you become a complete human, proper,
I
intelligent
totally
human.
agree with you. Totally agree with you, because what you've rightly said, in the past, those listener clubs
Yeah,
had
they were
different
there.
had different interests altogether. There's a sea change in the kind of topics and things that they've been listening to, and particularly in times like this, when we have pandemic around, we have so much of digital divide. Getting information through all whatever possible media is of great importance. Radio, for that matter, is an important one as well.
And there is actually, as a part of our program, we also include certain questions from the listener, and if that question is included in our program, that means that listener is also entitled for a prize.
That's exactly what I said.
This is a question, Nakulji. I want you to answer this.
Sure.
He is asking whether AI has been included in the school syllabus.
The AI is finding, as I said, AI started finding its place. It's already found the foot in the door by, especially in class 12th curriculum, we find AI being introduced, topics being discussed about, languages like Python are being discussed and taught about. So the nitty-gritties, the initial phases of AI have already gotten in, and I'm sure over a period of time they'll find a big way into it, because all we need is to get our youngsters be aware of what actually AI means and how does it work. And it's just not anything which is rocket science. It's a simple, plain application of your domain expertise and a bit of your programming skills, which then takes you further to different realms of AI. And it's exactly like the deeper you get into the sea, the deeper you have chances to find the pearls and the wealth that is hidden in the sea.
What a lovely example.
Yeah. For example, like, can you explain more on this domain expertise?
Oh yes.
Concept of
Oh
domain
yes.
expertise.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. See, for example, you are a domain expert in law, and you have got so many cases to look after, and all that you need is that instead of having so many books at the back of your chamber, you would want that to be at a click of your button, and for that matter, you would want to search anything. So you would have to probably tell a programmer to train the machine in such a way that the kind of algorithm or the process or flowchart that he has to write should be such that your results that you're wanting should come up. And for that matter, you'll have to provide the programmer all those rules. When I say rules, is like if then else, if this was this, then this is this. So all that stuff, that algorithm that he has to create, you'll have to provide him with the domain knowledge so that he can understand and get you the desired results. After all, AI is what? It's about training the machine to achieve the results that you want.
So that means for school-going children, they don't have to worry.
Not at
just
all.
now, they have to acquire first the domain expertise.
Absolutely.
And then look for how AI can be helpful, and or what can be utilized as their domain expertise in creating a specific program or a basically a usage.
Absolutely.
In a way. Yeah.
So I would request the listeners to ask more and more questions,
Yes.
because that way they are not simply asking questions, they are making the other listeners
Yes.
aware of something that is that they are being deprived of. So it was a pleasure knowing all this. Any other plan that you have in the future about this Vigyan Prasar? Because as it is, the serial is going on. But do you have more plans related to this?
Oh yes, particularly for artificial intelligence, it's important for us that we move out of the electronic, we move out of the print media and get into different modes where we could talk about artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Social and digital media are two other media that we are trying to work on very closely, very aggressively. All social media platforms now talk about artificial intelligence, but to make it interesting, Tyagi ji's endeavor of this Aane Wala Kal or the Welcome Tomorrow, the series of all that we have produced are now being compiled into a form of a book, which
Oh,
would be
great.
available. Experiences, feedback would also be
questions,
there.
the winners, everything.
Everything.
Oh.
So it would be something that will make the series immortal in days to come.
Absolutely.
And for anyone wanting to look at it, doesn't have to search here and there, can just go grab this book, which we expect would be there soon after the series get over.
Oh, that's really nice. And I'm sure our listeners right now, those who are glued to radio listening to this interactive session also, because after being declared as the winner, they'll definitely, I mean, those who are listening, even if they are not the winners, they'll at least have the hopes of being included in this program. So that was very nice. And it was pleasure listening about these things in detail, and about the AI, which was still till now alien to so many people, but now people are getting acquainted to all this and they're learning so much about it.
Absolutely, and I'm sure the entire set of listeners and the people who are listening to this
Yeah.
will always remain indebted to Dr. B.K. Tyagi.
Across the country in coming out converting those hardcore idea into a drama form, and with the known characters and very relatable examples. That was the best part.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and every episode in its own way is complete and so informative.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for thinking so highly and thinking in such a way that it has been of great help to all the listeners, whoever right now have taken this serial seriously and will be listening to it in the coming days also. So thank you very much
Thank
for
you
being
too.
with us.
Thank
too.
you. Thank you.
Welcome tomorrow. You are listening to the 35th episode of the science serial produced by All India Radio in collaboration with Vigyan Prasar. In this episode, you heard a discussion on the series and salient aspects of artificial intelligence. The participants were Dr. Nakul Parashar, Director Vigyan Prasar, Dr. Beerendra Tyagi, Senior Scientist Vigyan Prasar. Vinita Thakur was moderating the discussion. Do share your feedback on the program. You can mail your opinion by simple post to this address: Science Serial Welcome Tomorrow, Vigyan Prasar, A50, Institutional Area, Sector 62, Noida 201309. You can also write to us on our email ID radio@vigyanprasar.gov.in. Do write your full name and address. We will be back again with our next episode of the science serial Welcome Tomorrow, same day, same time next week. Till then, goodbye. This broadcast came to you from All India Radio, Delhi.